Hi, my name is Jesus Diaz, and together with Connor Wright, Aaron LeGraze, and Zachary Clay, we're working on the development of a gel polymer operational matrix for water shutoff. This is the agenda for today's presentation. We are working on creating a program which will help determine if water shutoff with the use of a polymer gel will be successful. With immense amounts of data, it can become somewhat troublesome trying to read and research lots of loose data in order to educate oneself on the topic. Instead, in regards to water shutoff, we have taken the approach of reading multiple pieces of data in order to further organize what we feel is the most important aspects of the process so that we can construct a program to help aid the decision making. By creating this basic model, we hope it can serve as a tool that will help cut down on time having to compare one's own unique situation in order to make a decision about combating excess water production. Additionally, the system is aimed to not only give our educated opinion, but further be able to suggest techniques or additives that would increase potential success of water shutoff operations. After doing research on many polymer gel water shutoff operations, we are able to create a database with certain parameters. We are able to do a statistical analysis on the data and structure it so it can be used to make a user-friendly program that anyone can use.
Our first major key development is that in our original plan to construct an operational matrix for water shutoff, we're attempting to have options that would not only include a polymer system, but also a mechanical and cementing approach as well. When sifting through the data and making the judgments regarding these parameters, it was found that a polymer system seemed to be much more effective and reliable in regards to all sorts of water shutoff scenarios. It was found that with proper manipulation of the polymer system, as in the addition of certain additives and the technique and placement, essentially the polymer system would be consistently a better approach. After speaking with our advisor, we decided that we would have a better and more applicable program if we focused on suggesting a probability with a polymer system and the resulting additives that could be used to improve these chances. With this established, our program is now constructed on the basis of 7 main parameters that we found to be of the most limiting factors surrounding polymer gel systems. These include depth, temperature, permeability, porosity, salinity, zone thickness, and lithology. In handling these parameters, we found that with the help of the research data and some basic statistical methods, we were able to create windows that can compare new inputted data to what we have found to be in ideal situations. These decisions were determined with aid by constructing intervals of like data, averaging and the deviations from those averages with the data, and just some key research evidence that was deemed vital to the decision-making process. It is easy to see how if most data suggests a certain interval or an average number that the deviation from that average number can be easily translated into a lower probability, but certain aspects that we found as key data could not be overlooked. For example, in regards to salinity, we found that without the use of certain additives, that even a small concentration of saline water in a formation or mixed water results in tragic results in implementing a polymer technique, no matter how well the other parameters score. In regards to a more analytical approach, let's take temperature for example, we've found that there was an ideal window from 120 to 180 degrees Fahrenheit. Thus, we assign a high probability of success within that window. At temperatures above this, there runs the risk of premature cross-linking, so we have a set formula that lowers the probability by a factor based off the deviation from a temperature above 180. Additionally, at temperatures below 120, issues arise in the curing rate of the polymer system as it is heat activated. Thus, another formula must be constructed in order to have a unique probability from the deviation below 120. With these determined windows, we've been able to construct formulas that can be switched into code that will analyze the newly inputted data. Other parameters, such as lithology, are easier to determine as there are only 2 given options, so the probability is just sort of an arbitrary number that will be used in order to help aid in the process of acknowledging the parameters, but will not affect the overall outcome that much. Another key aspect of this system is that these parameters are further weighted in order to show the significance of certain factors. In implementing successful water shutoff techniques, having a permeability that promotes flow is crucial to the gel placement, so that it can deeply penetrate into formation. Because of this, inputted data for the permeability will have essentially double the weight as something like lithology and affect the final probability and chances of success in the overall analysis of the scenario. The structured parameters and formula that we have created to represent our research data are very good at this point, and the secondary weighting system only increases this accuracy. However, once we begin the trial testing, we'll be able to tweak and adjust the formulas as we deem necessary.
There's so much data on water shutoff methods due to the production of too much water in wells. Lots of research or a trial and error process may be a route small companies can take to find a solution. Our database represents a quick and easy statistical solution that utilizes this unused data to predict what may be the correct way of fixing the problem of water production. This database required a lot of research on past well projects that involve water shutoff with polymer gels. Some companies don't have the means, knowledge, or time to run a reservoir simulation to get an assumption of implementing a polymer job. These companies are typically mom and pop type that would not either have the technology or time to run these simulations. This program would serve to be utilized as a second opinion. When coupled with the fact that it is free, this program could be very well helpful in deciding whether a polymer gel operation would be the best chance of success. It may not be a definite solution to the problem and should not be the deciding factor, but it is definitely a helpful guide that can save on research time in order to point them in what could be the right direction.
Future work. We still have to complete the coding with the VBA in order for the program to recognize or use the right formula for the given data. This is so that the input data can be paired with the right formula that will help give a better weighted probability rather than rely solely on its deviation from whatever the average parameter value is found to be. In this way, we can make sure the output data is statistically unique by acknowledging the importance of the weight of some parameters versus others, as well as being able to deal with windows of data, such as in the case with permeability. In regards to permeability, there is not only an ideal window at 1,000 millidarcies and above, but there is also an equal chance of success with a value lying between 300 and 1,000 millidarcies. However, we can't guarantee it as much as something above 1,000 millidarcies. Thus, we must construct multiple formulas in order to properly represent these discrepancies. Once the coding is complete, which we would like to do by the end of the month, we must run certain data sets in order to not only check the accuracy of our first system, but also help refine the parameter windows in order to further improve the accuracy. Ideally, with sample data sets, we hope to improve that based off the few parameters that we have, our system can give insightful response. Additionally, getting the formatting of the program to look easy and user-friendly would help us present input boxes and message windows that anyone could use and interpret. We met with our advisor, Babak Akbari, this past week to discuss our progress thus far. We have all come to an understanding of what has been done and what needs to be done in the future to successfully complete the project. Our advisor suggested that we backtest our matrix against the data of wells where a gel polymer was successfully and unsuccessfully implemented to test the accuracy of our code. Backtesting would also give our results more meaning as it proves that our code can work and will work. As our intermediate presentation comes to a close, we would like to thank Babak Akbari and John Estrada for giving us the guide that we need to get this project done, and we'd like to thank Dr. Mileva for the motivation to even start the project. Thank you.